now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, I need it now, told him on the lay. I've been moving dog, yeah, I'm on the way. I don't hear the talk, don't care what they say. I don't got no patience, I can't ever wait. I've been trying to get it, running up all these digits.
Welcome to the video, guys. Thought I'd train a little bit before chatting. So this is the first leg day on YouTube within this pre-prep diet. And yeah, there's a few adjustments going into this session today that we'll talk about. But I'm 2 weeks into this pre-prep diet. This morning I was 71. That would be very lean. I'll be stage ready. 91.7, which is 4.1 kilos off in 2 weeks. So moving pretty well, very happy with that. But yeah, it's worth talking about how you approach these sessions when you are a lot leaner. How do you manage volume? How do you manage execution? Things that I notice change when I get a little bit lighter. Stability, body fat going away in certain areas that makes movements feel a little bit different. I think it's worth talking about this. But yeah, this pre-prep diet is really important for next year. This is almost like prep. So, you know, it's getting exciting. We are kind of in prep. I've started prep heavier than what I am right now before. So technically it's just the same fat loss for prep, if that makes sense. So very important phase, and it's worth talking about it and showing you the journey. Might give you a bit of a physique update at the end. Depends how I feel post legs. But yeah, I'm feeling leaner, so the frequency of which I pose might increase a little bit. But yeah, line leg curls in, just 2 sets on this. Do one more set. I've reset the execution a little bit, and it feels much better, much easier to retain. So yeah, we've got one more set on this, then we'll go on to hacks.
And I've been in the gym, I've been up doing minutes. I just put in that work, for them it's strictly business. Yeah, see through the face, they all just burning bridges. Yeah, like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, they don't want it dog like I want it dog. Yeah, they say they want it, then they took the summer off. I've been going down the list, checking numbers off. I was checking all your numbers, told them something's off. I was at the bottom, now you know I'm climbing. Now they sending deals, they know I ain't signing. They been trying to sell it, they know I ain't buying. When they send a text, dog, I ain't replying. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP.
So something I noticed on this hack a lot as I'm getting lighter is my stability around my pelvis is dropping off. So essentially what I mean by that is like when I get into the stretch position, my lower back, my pelvis tends to roll off the pad a little bit. And it's just because I've got less around here now, like pressing against the pad. And this is why I like a low stance in the hack, because when I unrack it from a low stance like here, I'm pushing myself into the pad. Whereas like if I was higher up, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm gonna lower my stance a little bit more than usual today, just so the stability issue of getting lighter and my lower back getting a lot leaner, which is an area for me that gets very lean, like very, very lean, and it makes my hacks quite difficult to retain. So just lowering my stance and then controlling that change of direction a little bit more should help a lot with retention. So a little bit of a reset today and just changing a few things just so I can retain this for longer. Don't be scared to back off in weight if you need to in the diet. It doesn't mean you're losing muscle, it means you're going to allow yourself to retain for longer after.
Yep, come on. And again, let's go. Drive, come on. And again, mate, come on. Yep.
See, that was a bit of a reality check. Well, I don't know, it's just annoying. I wanted 7 or 8, but I've lost another kilo. I lowered my stance and it felt a lot harder, in a good way. So I guess I'll standardise having my feet a bit lower. It did feel more stable, it was just harder. More quad, more challenging, so yeah, my feet are really low now. But my ankle mobility's actually improved as I've lost weight. So I'm able to go a bit lower and still keep my heel down, which helps. So overall it was a decent set, but again, it's just a bit frustrating because I've got this SI joint problem that's been sticking me for a while. My right adductor is really tight, so I'm gonna need to get a massage or something on it because it needs to loosen up urgently because it's just limiting like confidence in things. But my last time, my hacks regressed a lot. And I think just as I get lighter, it's something about it, it's just hard to retain. Whereas other things, weirdly, like presses for me hold really well. I don't know, genetically this is what I'm better at, like presses, hinges. Whereas the hack squat has always been a bit more difficult for me. And I don't really get what it is, because if you saw me do a barbell squat, I'm way stronger at that than a hack squat. I think I'm just like quite hip dominant. So like when I lower my stance on a hack, it's a lot harder for me. Like, yeah, I have good quads, but from a strength perspective, in a squat variation like that, it's actually, they're not that strong compared to the size, so I don't know. But if I can just keep like close to 5 throughout this pre-prep diet, I'll be happy. But next rotation, it should feel a little bit better.
Lovely, mate, let's go. And again. Yeah, come on. Let's go, man. Yeah. Come on. Drive, come on.
So the exercise that's been adjusted within the session today is I'm putting in a high stance glute bias leg press. When I say high stance glute bias, any high stance leg press is going to be glute bias. But the reason I'm doing this, a couple reasons. Firstly, this machine will provide a lot more stability than the Smith split squat. So as I get lighter, I can really brace into the pad, into the machine, and you know, be locked in. Whereas on a split squat, it's a little bit more tricky. But the main reason for me is I've been battling an SI joint injury. And what that is, it wraps around the front. So my adductor is a little bit tight here, my SI joint top here. And it's just always just there. It's just not been, I would say it's slowly getting better, but it's still just kind of not 100%. And swapping that exercise to this is going to help a lot, because the split squat was where I injured it. Typically, when you injure something on a certain movement, that's the movement that is going to feel the most risk when you do it again. But also, I can, because of the stability, I can control things better. I can also have a bit of like a fresh start of it, reduce the load, not feel like I need to highly expose myself to such massive weights, and just do it in a safer way. So, and it's also time efficient doing both legs at the same time. I don't have much, when I was doing split squats, I didn't have like a stronger side to the point I couldn't really figure out what leg to start on. So it's fine for me not to do like single leg. So it works pretty well because I stay on this very good sideways leg press. So you can do this for quads or glutes depending on where you put your feet. So now you saw my feet really low, now my feet are going to go really high. I'm going to go very light, I'm going to be cautious. I'd rather not overdo it and get better sooner than kind of have this like continuous run of just like okay sessions. It's not what I want. So I'd rather just take a step back for one session maybe. I've got hinges on Friday. I just need to be cautious so I can get back into a good spot. Because it's kind of like this is all connected. So my tight adductors are going to take away from my hinges. And I don't want that. Hinges are 100% more important for my physique than my quads. Like I need more here in my posterior than my quads in my opinion.
Lovely, mate. Come on. And again, come on. Yep. All the way. Come on, and again. Yep.
Oh. Nice. Oh. That hurts a lot. I noticed a little bit more quad in that than the split squat. I think just because the way it moves inevitably, it's quite hard to keep the knee flexion out. But ideally I'd want my foot like there. But I think because of the stability and how well I'll retain it, it works pretty nicely. So I'll definitely keep this in. I felt good. You just got to think about like your hips moving back. So I'll just use my arm as demonstration. This is your hip, that's your knee. If you're doing a leg press, bring it back from here to my hip, not my knee. Completely opposite to a leg press. So keep letting your hips come back as you stretch out so you can get as much lengthening of your glute through the movement. So hips back, minimal knee flexion, and that's how you're going to get a lot more glute. Oh. People always judge people that film their sets. Like I've seen people just go, oh, tripods, oh, why did you film your sets? Dorian Yates didn't film his sets or use a tripod. But like I've literally just done an exercise I haven't done in a very long time. And I came out of the set thinking it felt good on the glutes. But I did feel a little bit of a quad stimulus as well within it. And then I've watched it back and I can see I'm getting a lot of knee flexion still. So I've learned, okay, I need to fix that next time round. If I hadn't filmed that set, I would not known that. And I wouldn't have made the necessary adjustments next time. So imagine all the people that are quite inexperienced with training and they're getting used to training for the first time, that are scared to film their sets, that are missing out on making significant improvements at the very start of their journey. If I could go back in time and do that to my progress, I would have been so fortunate to be able to do that. But it's too late now, we move. But honestly, if you're new to training, try and get over the fear of filming yourself. That experience there just shows to me how people that are newer and learning all these different exercises at once need to see their training visually so you can see what's going on. You can't just know everything by how it felt during the moment, when a lot of the time, if you're actually training hard, you're not going to be thinking about much within that set, you're just going to be getting after it. Fuck. Matched both those sets, so I'm happy. If you take a big regression or something earlier on in the session, just fucking make up for it in your later exercises. The way that I keep my head on when dieting, if I'm losing strength, is really just understanding about leverages. So what I mean by that is you lose strength on a hack squat, probably just because you're a lot lighter. There's a little bit less stability on a big demanding lift. But how do you feel in your leg press? How do you feel in your leg extension when you're much more locked in? If those things retain, happy days, that's a good sign. It's when the leg extension drops off, the leg press also drops off. That's when you know it's a red flag. That's when you know potentially there's a bit of a mismanagement going on there in terms of your food or your rate of loss, flatness, sleep, volume, you know, those sort of things. So yeah, it's very realistic that sometimes you're going to lose a bit of strength on things. It's about understanding what is normal and what isn't. And it's quite hard for a lot of people that are first timers because they don't get that. They don't know what is normal to regress in a diet, what isn't. I know my hacks do regress in a diet a little bit for myself, so it's nothing new for me. Again, going back to that point about like understanding what you should expect in a diet. For me, at the start of every diet, my legs come in first. It's always the case, like my legs are way ahead of anything else. Like, not as in my posterior, like my glutes and hams, but my quads are always very lean. So that's coming first for me. Especially when I first walked in the gym, I looked at my legs, like, oh yeah, a lot of condition. Now you can't really see much because they're really inflamed and watery. But yeah, shape's coming back there. There's a lot of body fat coming off that area. And that might also be attributed to why I'm getting weak on the hack. It's like less body fat around my quads. So, but yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait to see my legs a bit leaner because they always look worse when they're soft. And I've been managing, you know, having pretty soft legs for a while now, and it's a bit demotivating at times. Adductor work. So this Cybex adductor, I love it. I love how it kind of, if you don't put your feet down, I can really stretch out ahead of me. And I don't know, but I just feel a lot more like the top of my glute. I think glute, adductor. And I think it shows a lot in rear shots, just like right up there. Such an important muscle group for your rear shots, guys, especially your rear relax. You push your hips back and you just have wide sweeping quads with adductor. That's the gap that some people have, you know, a gap in between their quads right here, and it just makes their legs look so much thinner. So don't neglect this stuff, but I'm being a bit cautious right now. Like I said, I've got a little bit of an injury. So what I'm going to do is understand that like for the next maybe 2 weeks, 2-3 RIR, maybe 2 RIR, I'm not going to lose my muscle doing that. I think some people get very scared of that, but I just need to be a bit cautious for a little bit, and then a couple of weeks we'll full send it and it'll catch up. swapped in this donkey calf raise about maybe a few weeks ago, and it's so good. Especially because of how it makes you, well, it forces you to have a straight leg. You push your hips back, keep your legs straight, and the stretch that you can create through your calf is so good. But something I've been adding into it is pausing for literally like 3 seconds almost in the stretch position. It just reduces that like momentum, that stretch reflex. I find that that's been key recently for improving my calves. I've noticed a difference genuinely in the last like couple of months of doing so. My calves were never that weak, but they weren't great. And to be honest, a lot of the time I would let the ego get the best of me. I could get very strong in it. And I mean, we can all be pretty strong on calves if we just throw it about, realistically. So it's not about that. If you're trying to get the most from the least of calves, which we all want, because it's pretty boring to train, it can feel pretty tedious at times, just spend time in that stretch position. You'll get so much stimulus from less work. And then you don't have to be doing calves every day, like some people have to do if they have weak calves, you know, just always stress, instead of going off volume, frequency, just think about what you're doing in the actual movement, the execution first. Oh. Oh, you still filming? Yeah, I reset this a lot. I just know I'm very conscious of the difference body weight makes in a poorly performed ab crunch, especially one like this where I'm leaning over it. So I'm just trying to think no body weight in this. Just contract, contract, contract through the abs and just get into spinal flexion as hard as I can and just go over. I'm thinking about like not leaning forward. I'm thinking about curling my spine really hard. So I'm thinking about going like this. It's very easy to, like, I could probably do that for like 20 plus reps if I wanted, but it wouldn't be my abs. I would just be going like this. So that's a wrap for today's leg session. Always trying to maintain, you know, an insight for you on the process of what I'm doing right now, showing you the good, the bad, the struggles. It's very easy to sometimes just share like the good sets on Instagram or showcase the highlights that go well, show the sessions that are fun. Sometimes it's good to show like, yeah, my hack regressed and it was shit. You know, that's part of dieting. And it's very easy sometimes for people just to see people on Instagram, see them share the good stuff. And then you're sat there thinking like, fuck, I'm making terrible progress compared to these guys. You're not, like, they're just showing you the best things. And I think sometimes being transparent is important. But yeah, just showing you kind of where I'm at, posing at this point, seeing like the flatness creep up, the leanness pick up a little bit, and showing you kind of the costs that come with dieting. You've got to understand them, otherwise sometimes you're going to struggle in a diet phase. You've got to always, to do well in bodybuilding, you have to commit to every phase you're in. That means being good at bulking, but also being good at dieting. So learning about both of you guys is really beneficial, and seeing kind of my journey through it can obviously help you. So yeah, just going to keep that coming, keeping the videos rolling through, showing you my journey through this pre-prep diet. I appreciate all the support as always. I do really, it does mean a lot when I see you guys sharing my YouTube, the stories on Instagram and commenting and everything. I see it all and I appreciate it a lot. So like and subscribe, all that stuff as usual, and we'll catch you very soon.